Hey guys, it's Ryan from resume2offer.com. Today we got a special video. I'm kind of being a little bit spontaneous about this one. This is going to be how you can become a top SDR in the cybersecurity sales kind of arena. Okay, so how do you become the best SDR in your team? How do you become the best one in your company? I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a framework of personal experience that I've had. I've been an SDR, I've been an AE, I've also been in recruiting and staffing. So I've actually led an entire 8 recruiters, head of the department, of recruiting department in a cybersecurity company, and I've been in a few other ones as well. So I know kind of both sides of the coin. I've been in B2B, B2C, all across the board, cold calling, the whole works. So I have a little bit of experience on this to help you guys out, some frameworks, things that I've used to basically maximize my output, some of the techniques, but also not just working hard, but working smart. How do you kind of like sharpen your axe? How do you make sure that you're maximizing your potential? So I want to give you guys a few little tidbits, some tips that I think can help. These are all things that I've done in the past over the last decade of my career. And today we're going to be talking about a few different things. So we're going to talk about kind of some of the components of sales, the sales funnel, some sales techniques, some additional skills that you might want to consider, some certifications, some of also the mindset you might want to consider as well, and group some books that you can plug into so you have a whole roadmap for the next year basically. Okay, so hopefully this will be helpful for you. Starting off, I've had a lot of people that I've been coaching and people that I've been students of mine. They've gotten a tremendous value out of some of the resources. There are free resumes if you guys want. There's free resumes in the description. You can go there. We've had people get jobs from that. We've had people who do one-on-ones with me and getting great jobs. I had a friend who just got into Samsara this week. It's not a cyber company, but that's awesome. We've got one person who went into Samsara, another one is Seamless. 3 companies that I know are hiring right now that have hired students of mine from CrowdStrike. We've had CrowdStrike, Rapid7, and Abnormal Security. So those 3 companies are currently hiring and they're growing. Might want to consider looking into them. Okay? So let's talk about kind of some of the first things. So understanding the sales cycle. You want to make sure that you know the entire sales funnel from start to finish. Everything from lead generation to the opener, the cold call part, how you're going to actually find number one, how do you find the lead? Number 2 is basically how do you find the opener? What are some cold calling techniques? You want to make sure you have your hook. The hook is the piece of information that when you actually get them to listen, keeps them on the phone. It gets their attention. It makes them stop thinking about what they were doing and how to focus on what you're going to say next. The hook, okay? Next thing is your discovery questions. You want to make sure that you have 2 to 3, maybe 2 to 5 discovery questions to get them thinking. You're putting the attention on them and you're asking questions. If you guys have seen other sales videos, they talk about pain points, right? So pain points, what is something in your business that you'd like to change? What is an area in your cybersecurity that you wish you could improve upon? What is one of the biggest weaknesses within your business? Your security features right now, your protocols. There's a lot of different discovery questions that you can use. You want to make sure that you're asking 2 to 3. You have something ready to go to get them talking and to listen to what you have to do, and draws out that thing that actually I wish I could change that, or you know what, that's a good idea. So then you have the lead generation, opener, cold call, the hook, discovery questions, and then the pitch. You want to make sure you have your 30-second elevator pitch on the company or the services that you do. And ideally, you have this mapped out on already. What is the features? What are the benefits? What is the thing that actually makes you different than everybody else? Okay, what is the thing about your cybersecurity company or your service or a protocol that you're doing that's very important, that actually is separate from everybody else out there? Okay, why would they choose to go with you? You want to make sure you have an answer to that, as well as you have this down. You've memorized it. You've practiced it in front of the mirror. You've done it enough times where you don't need the script. You don't have to read the script word for word. You want to be able to connect with your prospect or your lead. So you want to make sure that this is memorized and comes directly from the heart. Okay? So next thing, answering questions and overcoming objections. Very important. There is always between 5 to 10 common objections you're going to get. Common objections include, Oh, it's too much money. What's the price? I'm not the right person to talk to. Now's not a good time. We already have a tool like that. You got to make sure you know that these objections can occur. It's very, very rare you're going to meet a lead and they have no questions and they just automatically say yes. Okay? You got to make sure that there's going to be some questions about the product and the service and who you are and some objections. And you got to make sure that you have a response. You have it memorized. I'm going to say mesmerized. Memorized, and you have it down so that you know what to say. Okay? And it's really important that when you first are joining a new company, that you talk to somebody who's an AE or the sales manager, and you act like you're a customer, and you say these objections. So then they have to sell you, and that way you're learning kind of what they would say, as well as you're getting yourself sold on the product, on why it's the best one in the market. Very important to do so. Next is the close. You want to make sure that you have 2 to 3 specific closing techniques out there that you're ready to do at the end that you feel it's a good thing to do. Okay, there's a lot of different closing techniques. Hey, if I had something that could really solve your problem, would you be interested? Or which product would you like to go? Which product would you like, A or B? There's a lot of different closing techniques out there. But yeah, you want to make sure that you understand the sales funnel, each sales component from start to finish, starting from before you get the lead all the way to when the leads, you closed it and they're ready to go. You also want to make sure the proper ways of following up and follow through. Very rarely does your sale, you close it on the first sale. Maybe some business to consumer companies, but usually business to business, also B2B. Very rarely are you going to get on the first round, okay? Usually it's, on average, it's really the 3rd or 4th call. It's that follow-up, okay? There's an old saying in sales, the fortune's in the follow-up. So make sure you're making an active, habit of following up with a lot of these leads and a lot of these potential clients, okay? So with each part of the component, each part of the sales funnel, you also want to have a few techniques. You don't want to spread yourself too thin where you're like, I have 50 openers. I have 50 different techniques for cold calling. No. Focus on just 2 or 3. Focus on 2 or 3 varieties of a cold call that you can get really, really, really good on. You want to make sure that you measure your success. You want to make sure that you're actually how am I doing on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis? You're figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and what can get improved upon, okay? And it's very important to do so to measure your success, measure your output, and then that way you can kind of know where you are, you know what you need to work on. But yeah, you don't want to be a jack of all trades. You don't want to be spreading yourself too thin. Each part of this component, focus on a few different elements and just keep working on it. Keep improving upon it. Don't do a bunch of them at the same time, okay? Some additional skills that I would recommend that you kind of look into, things that, and by the way, anytime you jump into sales, if this is your first time ever going into it, I would really make a game plan that for the first year, you go all out. Okay, meaning like you read the books, you join the masterminds, you learn from boot camps, you learn from the company itself, you are practicing every day, you do maybe like above and beyond. You're working, instead of 40 hours a week, you go 50 or 60 hours a week. And just do that for the first year when you're building your book of business and you're just learning everything and integrating, and it becomes a different personality for you. Okay, you have that skill sets, because once it's kind of ingrained in you, it becomes a part of you. You don't have to think about it. It just is you're on autopilot. It's just a part of your personality. And then you can use that for your career if you choose it to be 3 years or 5 years or 10 years or beyond that. It's just that first year is so critical. So additional skills that you want to consider looking into. Okay, public speaking. Okay, I would strongly recommend looking into Toastmasters. It's completely free. You can check them out online. They have chapters all over the place. I've done it before. It's a great way to learn public speaking skills. Communication, negotiation, persuasion, okay? There's tons of podcasts, a lot of books out there on how to do this and develop those skills. We talked about, and this is another skill as well. You want to make sure you have a sense of urgency. You have a sense of urgency in your day-to-day stuff, but there's a balance. You don't feel desperate. You're not a desperate person. You're non-needy. You let go of the outcome. So yes, have that sense of urgency, but also be, not desperate. Okay, you're fine where you are. So you want to make sure that you have that kind of balance of a vibe. You also might want to look into email marketing, copywriting. You want to make sure that you have a thorough understanding of your product knowledge. What is your services, tools, everything, especially the tools you use in the sales company. Common tools can be Zoom Info, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, how a CRM works. You want to make sure you have all those components. You want to make sure you have the industry knowledge. You know what's going on in your industry, any new developments that are coming up in the next couple months. Usually within the next 3 to 6 months is a good rule of thumb of like what to look forward to in the future. Is AI having an effect on my industry? Look at the competition. What are the market leaders? What is the people that are also kind of around the same size company as you? That might be like also something to compare yourselves to, right? You want to make sure you understand the features versus benefits and the difference between the two, okay? I know those are a little bit something like, what's the difference? Look it up. What is the difference between features and benefits? Another thing is leadership. If you're a salesperson, you're really kind of in business for yourself, and you have to take ownership, you have to take initiative, be decisive, be a leader to yourself. You have to lead yourself first before you lead a team. So look up leadership skills out there and start implementing into your daily habits, into your mindset and your actions. You need to have some key leadership skills, right? You're a go-getter, first and foremost. All right, next ones. Plan your work and work your plan. You want to make sure you're planning tomorrow, today. Okay, usually every Friday, I definitely spend a little bit more time planning for all of the following week. At the end of the day, I always plan for the next day. How am I compartmentalizing my schedule? What is my priorities? What do I need to focus on first? What is that 80-20 rule? What 20% of my business or what 20% of the things I'm doing giving me 80% of the results? I'm always looking at things like that, and that way you can break down your entire schedule, how you can maximize your time. The carpenter's way, measure twice, cut once. So you definitely want to do that. Did I say that right? Yeah. So I would recommend that you spend about at least 2 hours every single week, one on cybersecurity, knowing industry knowledge, knowing all the vocabulary in cybersecurity, what's going on in different companies in the industry, and then another hour on specific sales skills. Okay, we talked about opener, closer, how to pitch, how to lead generation, all those aspects. You want to definitely always be sharpening your axe. Okay? All right, what else we got here? Perfect. So some groups, certifications, and books to plug into. Okay, so first off, if you're job hunting in the cybersecurity space, strongly recommend that you get Security Plus. Okay, it's CompTIA Security Plus. This is a very important thing. When I was hiring salespeople in cybersecurity, I'd get, if I got 100 resumes and one of them had the Security Plus certification, that person stood out to me. I would instantly talk to them over the phone. Okay? It's really easy. It's about 40 multiple choice questions. I don't think it's, I think it's pretty relatively easy. You don't need to get CISSP and CEH and all these other certifications out there. For just getting in the industry, Security Plus is all you need. Okay, that's all you need. I would also recommend that you look up coursework, okay? Something simple. I know that Coursera has some cybersecurity courses there just so you can understand some industry knowledge. You can use Google, you can use ChatGPT, but I want you to create an encyclopedia, your own encyclopedia, you can do it on Microsoft Word, of just here's all the acronyms used in cybersecurity, here's how the components work together, here's like hard drive versus software versus regulatory versus what is the risk management framework, steps 1 through 6, all these little things. You want to make sure you understand that and that you create this knowledge bank just on your computer. You can definitely write it out if you want to, but you just keep it on your computer, but this way you're adding knowledge all the time. So Security Plus, big thing to do. Second thing I would do is different groups and masterminds. If you want to become a top SDR, okay, you really need to associate with other winners, okay? It's the biggest thing that you can do. A lot of studies show if you're with a winning sales team, your sales can increase by 20 to 50%. Also, the two biggest ways that you can learn is, number one, from observation. You mimic and model other people, as well as from your own trial and error, okay? So you're always doing these two different things. You're observing other people, and the ideal situation is you join a good cybersecurity company. But say you don't. Say you're not, like the team's not the best. What other ways that you can do so? Okay, I would always recommend masterminding. There's a common phrase, your personality and your income will be the average of your 5 best friends and the books you read 5 years from now. Okay, so just think about that. So if you set yourself up for success, I would recommend you have a few different masterminds. One in kind of like ideally the team that you're on has a good mixture where the sales leader has like crushed it. You know, they're over quota, they're rocking it, they're doing everything. You have somebody definitely like who's that next step above you that you can definitely model yourself after. That's great. At a local level, if you have friends that are all into sales or in cybersecurity or in cyber sales in your local area, that's a good group that you can plug into. I would also recommend you do industry specific and also a general mastermind that is more just kind of like everybody's going in the same direction of winning. So obviously, I would recommend check out the resources in my description. I partner with Higher Levels. They are a tech sales bootcamp and cybersecurity sales bootcamp. You know, I know the owners. They're both AEs. They've been crushing it. And we've helped a lot of people get jobs, become the top SDRs in their companies, as well as then go on to AEs. Super important to do so. If you use the link below, you get a discount and you get a free one-on-one with me. You know, that way you can use it. You can use it whenever you want. I would strongly use it. I would recommend using it when you have an interview lined up, and you can use it for like a mock interview, a mock sales call. I can really helped a lot of people else get their jobs. So strongly recommend doing that. But also the key thing is that there's about 4 weekly calls that you can plug into with other people that are doing great in the industry. And that way you can mastermind with them. You can ask them questions. They can listen to your pitch in your company. It's a real great way to constantly sharpen your blade and sharpen your axe. I think just that is worth it. So check that out as well. The third one is a company called, or I don't know, it's not really a company, it's more of a nonprofit club called the Global Information Network. This is kind of a success club that I've been a part of for a long time now. And I actually was in LA this last weekend. We were hanging out in Beverly Hills with other members, and they cover wealth, relationships, health, a lot of different areas. They have their own success courses, everything like that. You mastermind with people. It's very inexpensive. Definitely recommend checking that out. They also give you a personal mentor and coach, okay? If you just join, you get assigned, you randomly assigned a personal mentor. Totally great. You make a great relationship. It's wonderful. I'm also a coach myself. If you would like me to be your coach, you know, I'd be honored. And just let me know before you join, so I would send in your application on behalf of you, and then they would assign me as your coach. So something to throw out there if that's something you want to look at. Check out the website. You can read a little bit about it. I actually joined them originally when I was in Tokyo, funny enough, and I've made friends all across the world. You know, I had multiple people for my wedding, and people were like, man, this group is like the most fun, positive people ever. It's really cool. So that would be some of the things I would recommend, okay? Get Security Plus's certification. In terms of bootcamp and mastermind, I would check out in Higher Levels, either the Tech Sales Ascension. If you're having a tough time finding a job, check that out. If you're getting like 1 to 2 interviews a day, then you're probably gonna be safe and you can get a job. Then I would check out SDR Accelerator, that course, okay? Use the links below and then check out maybe the Global Information Network as well. Might be something that can really help you. It's helped me increase my income, wealth, and all this other fun stuff, okay? Okay, last but not least, one of the biggest things, I'm gonna talk about mindset. Mindset is, I think, very important, and nobody really talks about it. It's really the inner self. Another way of saying it is your self-image. Another way of saying it is your beliefs, as well as knowing your limiting beliefs. I've spent about, I don't know, twice going into this subject material, and each time I focused on it and worked on it, I've seen every other area raise up, from relationships. You know, I worked on my self-image a few years ago, and then 3 months later, I met my wife. And then like a little bit right after that, I started making more money. I doubled my income. Okay, I also did this, I remember I did this when I was around 24 years old, and all of a sudden was like, you know, I got all these job offers. I ended up living in Japan. I ended up becoming, you know, I did a little bit of acting and sales, and I was a whitewater rafting instructor. So a lot of fun stuff. Each time I focused on my self-image, okay? And the self-image really is, it's not just so much your conscious thought, it's your subconscious and your unconscious below that. 95% is below the conscious mind, okay? So you have to make sure if you're fixing this, you might be consciously wanting to get something, and then you have a subconscious that's causing friction. So you want to make sure you know your limiting beliefs. I truly believe that 90% of your success and your sales is all in the mind. It's all kind of that inner dialogue. It's all about knowing, the subconscious and knowing your self-image, okay? So some ways that you can do it. So number one, in the Global Information Network, they actually have a course called The Science of Personal Mastery. Strongly recommend you check that out. It's when you become a member in that program, you get it, go through it. Second thing you could do is look up a book, Psycho-Cybernetics. There's a new one and an old one. I think they're both good. Some people prefer one or the other, and I've read them both. I think they're great. Check those out too. It talks a lot about the self-image. The easiest way I can kind of mention it, you pick a bunch of different areas that you want to get better at, okay? Money, career, health, relationships, social life, lifestyle. You pick all these different areas, and then you write out the person you want to be. What is the person you want to be, say, 2 to 5 years from now? Who is that person? What is their day-to-day? What is their lifestyle, right? What is the type of relationships you're in, the money you're making, the sales you're making, all that stuff. It's also how you want others to view you. How are you viewing yourself? How you want others to view you as well. Then you write down the limiting beliefs. You write down all the things that kind of creep up in your mind that like your mind goes to. Like if it's a subject about money, you're like thinking, I'm always broke, I can't make money. Like if that kind of comes up in your subconscious, if you focus on it, write it down. Write down in all these areas limiting beliefs that come up to the surface when you focus on them, okay? Then you want to start reframing them. Okay, how can I reframe them? How can I start, instead of making this a negative, how can I make it into a positive? Okay? And you want to make sure that it's not so much a leap. Like you don't want to be thinking like, if you're thinking I can't make money, you don't want to reframe it to like I'm a millionaire. Okay? You want to make it so it's a small little shift, a small shift. Instead of I can't make money, I can make money. Okay? I can get a job. I can do these things. You start redirecting that belief system. Then, and I would recommend for each area, you write down 2 to 5 empowering positive beliefs, okay? The key is that every day, for 30 days, you say these out loud. You say these out loud in the morning and the evening, 10 minutes when you wake up and 10 minutes before you go to bed. It's really important because actually your mind's in an alpha state. Your left and right hemispheres are actually equalized and you internalize that a lot better, as well as you write this down. Write it down in the morning. You write down each affirmation and you say it out loud. When you say it out loud, the vibration goes into the ear as well as through the bone into the brain. Very powerful to do. Do that for 30 days. Commit to it. I think that it will radically change your life. Okay? So I hope this helps. That's a whole easy way, easy blueprint that if you just did all that stuff, it's going to radically change your life. So I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to reach out to me. I include my email and my LinkedIn if you want to reach out to me. Feel free to check out some of those free resume templates if you need help. Check out some of the additional resources, and then let me know. If I would love to hear your takeaways. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment on this video, what you got out of it. And then also feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and the best of luck on everything, okay? Cheers.